எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். இன்னைக்கு நம்ம அந்தாதியில தெரப்பி எடுத்த ஒரு பேரண்டோட ஃபீட்பேக் தான் பார்க்க போறோம். ஸோ எனக்கு ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு. எனக்கு ரொம்ப ரொம்ப பெருமையா இருக்கு. ஸோ அவங்களோட ஃபீட்பேக்கை கேட்கும்போதே ஹானஸ்ட்லி அவங்க ஃபீட்பேக்கை கேட்கும்போது அவங்க ஒரு பாதி ப்ரொஃபஷனல் மாதிரி பேசுறாங்க அப்படின்னு தான் எனக்கே தோணுச்சு. பிகாஸ் அவ்வளோ ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிஸ் சொல்றாங்க, அவ்வளோ டெக்னிக் சொல்றாங்க, அவ்வளோ நாலேஜ் அவங்களுக்கு இம்பேக்ட் ஆயிருக்கு அப்படின்னு நினைக்கும் போது எனக்கு ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் அண்ட் பெருமையா இருக்கு. பிகாஸ் நான் நிறைய பேசுவேன் பேரண்ட் ட்ரைனிங் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஸோ அதோட ஒரு லிவிங் ரிசல்ட்டை நம்ம பார்க்கும்போது அவ்வளோ ஒரு சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு. பிகாஸ் அவங்க ஒரு ஹோல் ஜேர்னி சொல்லியிருப்பாங்க. அந்த குழந்தைய அந்தாதிக்கு ஒரு 1.5 வயசுல இருக்கும்போது கூட்டிட்டு வந்தாங்க. ஸோ 1.5 வயசுல ஸ்பீச் டிலே அப்படின்னு வந்தாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் ஏதோ ஒரு சூழ்நிலையினால அவங்களால தெரப்பி தொடர முடியல. அதுக்கப்புறமா அவங்க பிரேக் எடுத்து பட் ஆனால் சரியா ப்ரோக்ரஸே இல்லை, சரியா இம்ப்ரூவ்மெண்ட் இல்லை, இன்னும் பேச ஆரம்பிக்கலன்னு சொல்லிட்டு திருப்பி ஜாயின் பண்ணாங்க. திருப்பி ஜாயின் பண்ணி அந்த குழந்தை எவ்வளோ நல்லா ப்ரோக்ரஸ் ஆயிருக்கான், அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங்ல எவ்வளோ நல்லா ப்ரோக்ரஸ் ஆயிருக்கான், அண்ட் பிரிட்டன் பிளே முதல் கொண்டு கமாண்ட்ஸ் ஃபாலோ பண்ணுறது, இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய விஷயங்கள்ல ஓவரால் டெவலப்மெண்ட் அந்த குழந்தைக்கு அவ்வளோ நல்லா சூப்பராக இருக்கு. அது அந்த பேரண்டே அம்மாவே சொல்லுவாங்க, அதை நீங்கள் கேட்கலாம். ஸோ தமிழில் ஒரு பழமொழி இருக்கு, 2 கை சேர்ந்து தட்டினா தான் ஓசை வரும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. அதே மாதிரி தான் நான் எப்பவுமே சொல்றது, ஒரு குழந்தைக்கு நல்ல ப்ரோக்ரஸ் இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு நம்ம நினைச்சோம்னா 2 எக்ஸ்பர்ட்டோட ஹெல்ப் தேவை. ஒரு எக்ஸ்பர்ட் அந்த கண்டிஷனை பற்றி நல்லா தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும். ஸோ இப்போ ஸ்பீச் டிலேனா அதை பற்றி நல்லா தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும், ஆட்டிசம்னா அதை பற்றி நல்லா தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும், அந்த ஒரு எக்ஸ்பர்ட் வேணும். இன்னொரு எக்ஸ்பர்ட் யாருன்னா அந்த குழந்தைய நல்லா தெரிஞ்சிருக்க எக்ஸ்பர்ட். ஸோ அது நத்திங் பட் பேரண்ட் தான். ஸோ இந்த 2 எக்ஸ்பர்ட்டும் ஒன்றா சேர்ந்து ஒரே டீமில் ஒர்க் பண்ணும்போது கண்டிப்பாக ப்ரோக்ரஸ் இருக்கும். அதே பேஸ் பண்ணி ஒரு ஸ்டோரி தான் ஒரு பேரண்ட் சொல்கிறாங்க. அதை நீங்கள் டீட்டெயில்டாக கேளுங்க. அது ஒரு பெரிய கதையாக அவங்க சொல்கிறாங்க. பிகாஸ் அவங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல இருந்து என்ன நடந்ததுன்றதை டீட்டெயிலாக சொல்லணும்னு நினச்சிருக்காங்க. ஸோ ஐம் வெரி ஹாப்பி அண்ட் ஐம் வெரி கிரேட்ஃபுல் ஃபார் சச் ட்ரஸ்ட் அண்ட் ஃபார் சச் பேஷன்ஸ். அவங்க டைம் ஒதுக்கி இவ்வளோ பெரிய ஒரு ரிவ்யூ கொடுத்ததுக்கு. ஸோ தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச். அண்ட் இந்த வீடியோ ஃபுல்லாக பாருங்க, கேளுங்க அந்த பேரண்ட் என்ன சொல்கிறாங்க அப்படிங்கிறத.
Hi, so I'm a parent of 2.5-year-old kid who is undergoing therapy with Andhaadhi Rehab. So this is going to be a very honest feedback about my kids' therapy, and bear with me, it's going to be a long review as I wanted to share everything about this journey with Andhaadhi Rehab so far. So it was like around, I guess, in April 2021, that is exactly a year back last year. My kid was 1.5-year-old, which was 18 months. So I realized that he had a speech delay because I could see that kids around him at same age, they were kids who were even telling amma, appa and all that, but he had a speech delay and there was a lack of eye contact as well. He did not utter any words, and pointing like only if he needs something he points, that to like only for 4 to 5 items that he recognized. So it was not that great, and I realized that he had a speech delay. So I as a parent was very concerned about it, and I consulted my pediatrician. So he advised me to reach the developmental therapist, which was something that I did not know about, honestly. So I searched online, and initially I found few in-person therapists. So there were like therapy centers in Chennai. So they informed me to visit in person. But this was about peak pandemic last year, and I was not really comfortable to take my kid in person at all. He was only 18 months and he was very young. So, and also on top of it, I still had no clue what that therapy was about and how long it's gonna take. And what's the frequency and how long, like I don't know anything, no clue about it at all. And few of the therapy centers even mentioned that when I inquired, they mentioned that I should be leaving my kid with the therapist in a room and I'll be waiting outside. So this came as a shocker to me because mine was only 18 months old, and I was not really convinced with the idea of leaving my kid inside a room. So I immediately decided that this would not work for me. And randomly in Instagram, when I was some day, like after 2 weeks I guess, so I came across this Andhaadhi Rehab post on Instagram. It came out of blue. So I was looking at their post, and I understood that they are providing virtual therapy for kids who had language delay, speech delay and all that. So it was exactly this April 2021. So I was looking at that post and I thought I would reach out to Vaishnavi ma'am for assessment. So we had a talk and we had a detailed assessment. It was like 1 to 1.5 hours. They asked about my details, how's the kid and all that. So and then they suggested to go for occupational therapy and so I started occupational therapy immediately. It was Sumitra ma'am who's therapist, and she was very accommodated, to be honest, because mine was quite young. He was only 1.5 years and he would not, obviously I can't expect him to sit and listen. He would rarely listen. He will always be and running this side and that side. And but she did her best in bringing his attention in the Zoom video calls. We had a laptop set up, and I still remember that he started saying hi to her in the video calls. It was his first word. So that was his first word he said, and we continued the sessions with Sumitra ma'am, most of which was occupational therapy. It was really very effective, and I could see that he was consistently using hi and bye to her, and he would follow certain basic commands like transferring of ball from one bucket to another bucket one by one and all that. He would do it back then. But after a month I found it difficult to continue because I had my work life overloaded, so I was not very consistent, which I guess is a big mistake from my end. I had to discontinue therapy, and I only hoped that he would improve over time. So it was like 6 months of no therapy. I waited and I thought he would improve. That's what people around me had said, that he will improve, like most boys would speak after 2 years. That's something that we would constantly hear, right? So I thought maybe that would happen, but there was no improvement at all. So he was around 2 years and still there was no visibility of words. Exactly when he was 2 years, I see that there is still no improvement in my kid. So my kid was only still saying the hi bye which he said earlier, but there was some improvement in eye contact, which I guess it was because of the commands or the suggestions provided by Sumitra ma'am. She used to follow certain suggestions and she provided me, and all those I worked on offline as a home plan, and I consistently did that. That was something that the visual stimulation and all that I did, and that was something I believe would have helped him with his eye contact. But there was no major improvement in speech at all. So I as a parent was devastated, and my husband was also really not happy with this. So he said that he would want me to go back to Andhaadhi. So I reached out to Vaishnavi ma'am, and we immediately started speech therapy ASAP. So it was around November 2021, last year, exactly like 6 months back, when he was around 2 years, we started therapy. So Rajeshwari ma'am was our speech therapist. Back then I was still not confident if this will work out, and initially I still lacked consistency because he was not cooperative much in the beginning, like 1 to 2 sessions. But Rajeshwari ma'am was really understanding, and she said that it is in the very beginning stage, so it will take time. But to my disbelief, honestly, after 2 to 3 sessions, my son started observing her, and he sat through the sessions for at least 20 minutes, which was really, really great. He would never sit for anything at all. So he still had screen time, and I had to drastically reduce. Rajeshwari ma'am advised me to reduce a lot. I had screen time for his meal times, and I tried to reduce. It was like only half an hour a day, which was still not okay, but I tried to reduce from my end as much as I could. And then I found that Rajeshwari ma'am was really engaging, and my kid, to my surprise, he sat through the sessions, and she made him listen to her. Kids will obviously get attracted to pictures, so she used a tractic and she used pictures to show him nouns, and she would name the nouns, and she would keep on talking about it. He did not actually catch words initially. He was just listening to it, so he did not catch it initially. It took time for him, but he kept observing her, and she was really, really engaging. And I worked on home plans that was given, and I must say that really helped my kid. Every day she would tell that you do this and that and all, and I could see that he started using words like in Tamil, predominantly in Tamil. He started using words like illa, ta, idu vena, adu illa, like that, and all in 3 to 4 sessions. It is not like he did not use this and that. If I say apple, do you need apple, he said illa, or if he needs, he say ta 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 with the hand gesture. So we were focusing on hand gesture and as well the speech, the word along with it. So initially it was like more of gestures and imitation of words, and then after 2 to 3 sessions, Rajeshwari ma'am advised me to do both gesture along with the word, so he could get grasp of it. So what we did is like sometimes I would just do the gesture and he would say the word, so it was like a reverse as well. So both we tried and reverse worked out for him a lot. So this gave me a lot of confidence in the therapy, because I believed I was not really confident because nothing he spoke, and all of a sudden when he started using 2 to 3 words, that in itself, like, I believed that my kid could finally speak and understand few things. So this made me really confident, and I continued therapy. There were still days where he would not be in a mood, he would be tired or something or other because he's still a kid, but Rajeshwari ma'am had something or other to bring his attention. And if he still doesn't sit through the class, she would be understanding on that part, and I was really glad for that, because I didn't want to pressurize him or to force and to listen to the therapies. I did make him sit through and I did my best, but if he cries or if he doesn't want to sit through, it was okay and we left it to it. So we were continuing therapy, and initially we worked on nouns, and the major advice that Rajeshwari ma'am provided was that you should understand the power of words, and there should be constant modeling at home. So these things I worked at home along with my parents and husband. So, and to my surprise, he started picking up words pretty well. In 1 month, there was a lot of words that he picked up. I used flashcards, and whenever I go out, I constantly used to tell. And sometimes he used to point out and look at me, Amma, Amma apple, Amma banana, and something like that he used to say. So initially it was more on animals, object naming, birds, fruits and all that. So Rajeshwari ma'am was happy about it, but she specifically mentioned that action words and functional language is more important, because that words will provide bring the conversation to build up. Nouns of course important, but some action words will bridge the conversation is something that she specifically mentioned, and that is something that I worked on next. So like meaningful words like sleep, bath or any action words that he used, I used to constantly model him, remodel. Whenever I do, whenever my husband does, whenever he does it, we would constantly repeat the words, and he picked up after time. He used to say Venu, Vana and all those he said. So I knew that the nouns are something that he's doing well. So this action words is something that we worked on later. And for example, if I model like 10 words out, he wouldn't say all 10 obviously, because he would pick up only 2 to 3 words among it, and after constant modeling I could see his vocabulary improving a lot. So every chance I get, every opportunity I get, I worked on it. And Rajeshwari ma'am informed me that I should bring in opportunities. Mostly it was like I initially was waiting for the opportunity, or I would say if something comes up I would tell, but later on that I voluntarily I injected opportunities to happen, and I made him do certain things so that he could understand and use the vocabulary on it. So I purposefully included opportunities for him to work on it. And also I must say that my kid understood the power of words. Because he understood that he could get anything that he asked for. This is something personally we as parents would give in, because we thought that improved a lot in him for asking. Like if he asked apple, even if he asked chocolate, we did give in, although it was not healthy and all that. So we did give in chocolates, or we did anything rewards as we gave in, because he asked for it mainly. And Rajeshwari ma'am also said me to do a lot of reinforcements, like whenever he asked for something, that is something we really acknowledged, and we said that he's doing a good job, great and all that. And after a while he would also imitate, like if he does something, and immediately he'll say good job, and if I did something for him he would say great, good job and all that. So those words that came in after constant modeling. So modeling is what I worked on, because initially, even before that, when he before 2 years and all that, I would just say like solle and all that, because that didn't work. So the modeling is something that I learned, and that is something I believe has really helped him. And there was a lot of pretend play in the sessions. Like he liked pouring water in jugs, and then he liked feeding animals, he liked making them baths. So Rajeshri ma'am would also pitch in, and she would also bring her animal toys and show that, and he would imitate. So that was really fun for him, and I believe that really helped him a lot, because pretend play is where the more and more of modeling and more of words and all that he picked up. So Rajeshri ma'am really appreciated that we should do a pretend play more and more, and that's what we worked on a lot. And so you would say amma come, and all those words came later, and she would tell that you point to him, keep your hands on you and tell amma or appa, and then only he'll recognize. So only after 2 years he started amma and appa also. Before that he would only know who is amma and appa, but he never uttered it. So I could see that he had a confidence in him when he asked things. He was very confident in telling the noun, and earlier he was blank, and he would scream and ask for it because he didn't know how to tell it. But right now, when he knew the word, he was very confident, and he would keep asking me, and I never denied, because when he asked me, I would give in. And that is because I thought that would really bring him to ask many things from me, and that really helped for me. And in therapy sessions, Rajeshri ma'am used to model a lot, and she would tell me every time to not give him anything immediately until he at least attempts to ask for it. This on top of it, if there are words that lack clarity, she advised to not correct him, but repeat the right words after he pronounces it. For example, he used to tell taki instead of tanni, and we would not say taki. I initially said that as a mistake, and he didn't repeat at all, so he didn't tell that word at all. But Rajeshri ma'am corrected me and said that I should not tell him correct, say illa and all. I should just repeat the word. Oh, you unakku tanni venuma, you need water. And that's how I worked on. And after modeling, like after a month or two, I realized that he changed the word. After constant modeling, he said tanni, and he properly pronounced the words. He still has lack of clarity in many words, and we are still working on it. So it's a long way to go, and there are many words like that. So I just wanted to tell this because these may sound very small or silly things, but as a parent, it was a very big achievement for us. In a span of 3 to 4 months, there was a drastic difference. I believe that is because of only the therapy, because there are certain nuances and strategies that I as a parent did not know until I started therapy. There were certain mistakes that I did, and after knowing the nuances, I started working on it, and there was a huge difference in him. So fast forward 6 months, like he is right now 2.5 years old, 2 years and 6 months. So here we are with, I would say, around, like, he has a vocabulary of around 350 plus words. So we as parents would sit down and write any new word that comes up. In every day he learns 1 or 2 words, and I wouldn't say that he continuously repeats every word that he learns every day. There are words that he forgets at times, but we try to bring the opportunity to remind those words. And many of them are right now functional, meaningful words, which were great, because initially when we started, it was more like nouns, object naming, like chair, TV and all those. But right now he uses some action words. He has pretty much basic knowledge on basic routine action words that he does at home. He sometimes repeats it. At most he understands it, and sometimes he even names it. So he had a struggle with colors as well initially, but right now we can name at least 5 colors. Colors, I wouldn't say really functional language, but this is something that a kid has to learn anyhow. So we worked on a constant modeling, and Rajeshri ma'am also, in most of the sessions, some other day we would bring up colors as a concept, and he used to listen to it, and he has started using it. So he right now in a phase of 2-word sentences like I want apple, amma come on, dog sleeping. He doesn't say dog is sleeping. Still we are not in the phase yet, but he combines meaningful words, nouns, and action words, and he even uses very simple sentences. Like if he doesn't know things, he would ask what is this, or appa enge, the questions comes up, or where is ball, and all that, which I believe was a constant modeling, and we followed that as a home plan, because asking questions is necessary part of the conversations. So right now, as another milestone, we are working on like few other questions that what are you doing and something. If I ask, he will tell what is doing, like playing and all those. He would tell his name and say playing and all those. There are certain situations that Rajeshwari ma'am advised that he should ask appa or amma which what they are doing, which we are right now working on. This is still a work in progress. He is not there yet, but I believe that he'll be there someday, and we are still working on it. Why I'm saying this in detail is because there are very, very minute things that I as a parent missed, in these years. And I thought the therapy really helped in teaching the nuances and strategies for me to work on. And Rajeshwari ma'am was really clear about it. My kid still has a long way to go in speech development. Recently we had a reevaluation, and he has few more months of as a lag as of this 2.5 years milestone. But we are working on it, and we are continuing therapy. So mine started preschooling now and is using few basic words at school for his needs, and he follows commands, which in itself is a significant process back in 6 months to now. Because earlier he didn't follow commands much, but right now he does. He understands this mela keela and all. Even says keela, and in pretend play he says a lorry accident, and then he tries to rescue it, and all this something that we worked on. So I believe this modeling and pretend play helped us a lot. These two really helped us a lot, and the power of words. Like although there are not many things that are healthy for him to give, I did given because really encouraged him to talk to us and ask us. If I denied, I'm not sure if he'd have asked us again, or he would have made him more scream or howl about this. That is not something I believe in. So it depends on parenting, but I did give in, and I believe that would fade in time, and he would be okay with whatever we say. So right now as a parent, I'm just giving in whatever he demands for, and that has helped me a lot, I would say. And I just wanted to end this by saying that for any parent who believes that kid will improve on his or her own without anything at all, that is not going to help, because that is a mistake that I did last year. So I believe early intervention therapy is the key. So mine is a living example for it. I started therapy last year, and we are continuing, and right now we are going okay-ish. I wouldn't say great, but we are going okay. And I believe if you're still being consistent, then there will be a lot of improvement in him. As far the therapy, I would say Rajeshwari ma'am has been doing her best. Of the 6 months, there was only 1 day leaves that she took, and almost every day she'll be on time. And there are days I was inconsistent because my kid was not in a mood to sit, or he would be exhausted and all that, but she was very cooperative and accommodating, and she would understand what it is not like a kid has to behave this way. Kid is a kid, and they would behave every way they would like to. And as a therapist, they were very understanding, which also gave me comfort and peace. If I had a therapist, or if there was anyone who would want my kid to sit every time, that is not going to happen in reality. And I would expect the therapist to be more understanding, and that is something I well received from Rajeshwari ma'am. So I was very comfortable with the therapy, and it is going okay, and it is going great so far. So we are continuing therapy, and I would like to end a note saying that I'm really thankful for Andhaadhi Rehab and Rajeshwari ma'am for bringing this platform, because I'm not sure if I would have been more consistent bringing my kid to a therapy center. Teletherapy, this virtual therapy has really worked for us, and we are going good. So thanks for that, and thank you.
ஸோ ஆஸ் ஐ ஆல்வேஸ் சே, நீங்கள் தெரப்பி ஒரு இடத்துல எடுக்கிறீங்க அப்படின்னா அங்கேருந்து நீங்கள் நிறைய விஷயம் கற்றுக்கணும். உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது டவுட்ஸ் ஒரு கிளாரிஃபிகேஷன்ஸ் நீங்கள் கேட்டிங்கன்னா அதை வந்து தெரப்பிஸ்ட் கிளாரிஃபை பண்ணணும். ஸோ தெரப்பிஸ்ட் வந்து டீம் பேரண்டாக இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு தான் நான் எப்போவுமே சொல்லுவேன். ஸோ பேரண்ட்ஸ்க்கு வந்து ஒரு ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லாக, பேரண்ட்ஸ்க்கு வந்து ட்ரைனிங் இம்பார்ட் பண்ணுற மாதிரி, ஒரு நாலேஜ் இம்பார்ட் பண்ணுற மாதிரி, ஒரு ஃப்ரெண்டுக்கும் டாக்டருக்கும் நடுப்புறமா ஒரு பர்சனாக இருக்கணும். இந்த வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருக்கோன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். உங்களுக்கு வந்து ஸ்பீச் தெரப்பி சேரலாமா, டெலிதெரப்பியில் ஒர்க் அவுட் ஆகுமா அப்படின்ற மாதிரி நிறைய டவுட்ஸ் இருந்ததுன்னா இந்த வீடியோவை பார்த்து ஒரு பேரண்டோட ஃபீட்பேக் கேட்டதுக்கு அப்புறமா நீங்கள் கிளாரிஃபை ஆகிருப்பீங்க அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஸோ டெலிதெரப்பியில் வந்து நல்லாவே ஒர்க் பண்ணலாம். நல்ல எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் உள்ள ஒரு டெலிதெரபிஸ்ட் எடுக்கும் போது கண்டிப்பாக அதில் ஒரு பாசிட்டிவ் எஃபெக்ட் இருக்கும், நிறைய இம்ப்ரூவ்மெண்ட் இருக்கும். ஸோ அந்தாதியில் உங்களுக்கு அப்பாயின்மெண்ட்ஸ் ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணணும்னா கீழே டிஸ்கிரிப்ஷன் பாக்ஸ்லேயும் கமெண்ட்ஸ்லேயும் லிங்க் இருக்குது, அண்ட் ஃபோன் நம்பரும் இருக்குது. அதை நீங்கள் காண்டாக்ட் பண்ணிங்கன்னா நீங்கள் அப்பாயின்மெண்ட்ஸ் ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணலாம். அந்தாதி ரீஹாப் சேனலுக்கு நீங்கள் கொடுத்துட்ருக்க ஆதரவுக்கு ரொம்ப ரொம்ப நன்றி. இதை இன்னும் நிறைய பேரண்ட்ஸ்க்கு கொண்டு போய் சேருங்க. ஸோ மறக்காமல் லைக், ஷேர், கமெண்ட் அண்ட் சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்கள். மேலும் மேலும் வீடியோஸ் செய்கிறதுக்கு அது எனக்கு ரொம்பவே மோட்டிவேஷனலாக இருக்கும்.